having the vision board, so having it visually there, seeing you, being accountable, because you wake up and you see it and you go, oh, that's right, I'm going to get there. Like, it's not when, it's like, not if, it's when. And it's going to be, and I could feel myself fitting into the clothing that I wanted. I could feel myself feeling comfortable sitting down, because one of the biggest things, I couldn't cross my legs. I felt like my stomach was sitting on my lap and I was just really uncomfortable. I used to breathe heavy, and I could visualize and feel myself being comfortable. And that was the best feeling ever.
Slimming Storage is branching out. I've created a Facebook group, and over the next couple of months, I'll be building the community, starting with live Slimming Story conversations. This is your opportunity to feature on one of the upcoming podcast episodes and share your weight loss journey. Are you with me? All you need to do is just click on the link in the podcast show notes or search for Slimming Stories within the group feature on Facebook. I would love to see you there. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Slimming Stories. I'm your host, Claire Alden West. I was so pleased a couple of weeks ago to make the Irish Top 40 podcast charts. That was really, that was something else, and I'm really pleased for all of my new listeners over in Ireland, and just a nice welcome to Slimming Stories. And I've got a great guest in store for today's episode, all the way from Australia. Lyndal Wimalasekera, I'm sure I pronounced that correctly, lives in Australia, and the reason I got her on the show was she just makes me laugh on her reels on Instagram. I found her on Instagram and she kind of does this bit of a dance at the same time that she's cooking, and I just found her really funny, so I thought I'll have her on the show and we'll see what her backstory is. She'd lost 6 stone in weight following the Weight Watcher plan, or the WW, over in Australia, and I thought, we'll see what her journey's been like. And she comes across as this big cheerleader for everybody. You know, she's got this real positive energy online, and when I met her over on Zoom, you could tell that she was really ready and ready to go for the interview. And as we got through a story unfolds that, she's had a lot of challenges within her life, but she's just faced every challenge with such a inspirational mindset. And I know we use that word and term quite candidly, but she is such an inspiration. And just to give a trigger warning, after giving birth to a son, she wanted to have more children and then had 2 miscarriages. So if this is something that's quite raw to you, just to give you that bit of trigger warning. But Lyndal is such a determined lady and she has such resilience. And I just know that, this type of weight loss story will really inspire you, that despite all of that and what she's been through in her life, she really shows up for herself, she shows up for her family, and she's loving the reels, and I'm sure that she's going to inspire you too, like she's inspired me. So here's welcoming Lyndal to her episode of Slimming Stories. Enjoy. So Lyndal, I just feel that you bring on the energy online. I think we really need that. You may not see your humour, but I find you really funny and you're really open. And along with all that fantastic positivity that you show on Instagram, you've also had an amazing weight loss journey. So if you just want to start, Lyndal, just by taking us right back to the beginning of how you decided to make changes, because I know that it's not always been easy for you to be consistent with your weight loss. I'm really looking forward just to unpicking that story.
Thanks, Claire. Yeah, look, I think with anybody's story, it doesn't start the day that they decide to do something. It's the life they've had before that. So, I've been through quite a lot in my life that sort of almost has brought me to this point where I just find joy in everything and fun in everything. And I think that's really helped my journey this time. So just a bit of a history. I think probably most of my life I've always been the taller and the bigger girl at school. And, I was always quite active, but I was always a bit more larger than most girls my age. that was always a bit hard, being teased, not being able to wear the cool clothing. So you just sort of go on with it. Like a pivotal point was probably when I was 18, is when I was diagnosed with arthritis. And then that changed everything in my life. I, tried to keep up with everybody, but deep down I was in quite a lot of pain. And then that's probably where I started my yo-yo dieting and quick fixes, trying to lose weight, trying to push myself really hard to lose weight. In the meantime, doing more damage than what I really was doing good at that time, because I didn't have the knowledge of it.
So remembering back to when I was a teen, and I don't know if you've got those pressures on you already, haven't you, to be a certain way, to look a certain way. And I don't know, I feel like adults, the doves from above, seem to believe that you can do and be anything, and you've got this super amount of, never ending energy. So having been diagnosed with arthritis at age 18, how did that impact you? Because I remember a lot of my time around the age of 18 going to step classes, going on bike rides with my friends. I was actually quite active, and I also used to love going to the gym. How did that impact you at that age within your friend circle and with your family?
Well, I think it definitely impacts your life, but I think I sort of thought to myself, okay, I can't change it, so let's just make the best of it. So I think that's sort of where I got my positive start to life in a way, because there's things like that I like to always think about the sphere of influence, which is where there's things in your life that you can control and things that you can't, and it's not worth putting energy into things that you can't. All you can do is make the best of the things that you can control.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just had to change my way of life a bit. There was times where I would just push myself because I wanted to keep up with friends and keep up with, everything. And I was sore afterwards, but I had fun while I was doing it. So it changes a fair bit. And I think my weight sort of fluctuated quite a lot then because I wasn't able to do the sport like I would normally do. I was doing in the past. I used to be a dancer. When you're a child, I think everyone dances. I don't know. I did. And netball and everything. And that sort of had to stop because then the arthritis got progressively worse. But the only positive thing is the medicine got progressively better. So that's been really good.
That's
but I think it's hard because you think to yourself, you're normal, but you can't do everything that you want to do. But that's okay because I can do something else. So if you just look at it that way, then that's sort of what gets you through.
And mindset is so important. And like you said, you had this when you was 18, but it's a case of what can I do rather than what can't I do, and knowing when to push yourself. I think with other people that have got different limitations with their health, seeing what they can actually do and what they can achieve is such a better way forward and such a better mindset to have. And there are things that you can do with arthritis that can obviously help improve that and make your life better. And having this positive outlook, what are your parents like? Are they the same? Is it, is this like something
exactly
that you picked up from your parents? They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, what a gift to give to your child.
They are just the most strongest, resilient people. I think they've been through a fair lot as well. So I think they have just brought me up to look for the best in everybody and thing. And so, you can't go wrong with two parents like I've got. So it's pretty good.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And having had that experience through your teens and then going through into adulthood, you mentioned that, you used to like to dance. And I guess that you adapted what you needed to do with your physicality and with what you was actually able to do. Did that continue then into your adulthood?
Yes. So I've always liked to go out and dance. I'd always end up with feet the size of, I don't know, that blown up feet the next day because of the swelling when I was heavier, because the pressure on my joints and the pressure on my feet. And I couldn't do everything I could do. But I just love to move. And I think it's definitely a lot easier now to move, which is really fun, and that makes it enjoyable too. And I've sort of involved that a lot more in my weight loss journey this time, because, you know, I can't do vigorous exercise or, you know, maintain going to the gym every day or, you know, get up and do a pump class. I just can't do that, physically can't do that. So I look for what I can do, and dancing around the house brings me joy, and I can also do it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think dance, you know, it can give you that confidence. So going through your teens and then moving on into adulthood, at what point did you meet your husband? I know that you've got a family. If you just want to tell me a bit more about that. Yeah,
sure. So I was a late bloomer to meet my husband. I was sort of in my 30s when I met him, and then we sort of got married and had a child straight away. Because we were a bit older, we thought we're not going to hang around and wait around because we're not getting any younger. So we've just got the one son. So, yeah, I think I'm glad that we started when we did, because he was an absolute blessing, because he just came with it with no issues. So he was just sent to us from somebody. I don't know. That's what I think. He's just gorgeous. So, yeah.
That's lovely. So with your first child, you know, there's so much intensity, isn't it, about getting everything looking right, getting your room looking right, getting the clothes ironed and pressed and all ready. And that there's that, you know, the first baby, so much joy and excitement, and then there's that conversation, isn't there, about having other children, having had this experience. I wouldn't say every parent has this with the first child, but you know, they are an absolute joy. And how was that for you?
That was exactly what happened with the first child, because we, you know, did everything that we thought was right and had to get the new this, new that. I remember having one shelf in the fridge for the milk bottles and nothing else can be on the shelf, like everything is right. And then we had that discussion. I went back to work full time, and he was only 8 months old, and so we could, you know, have the second child, and then the second child just wasn't coming. So it's like, oh, hang on. So it's just changing your mindset then, like, oh, okay, this is not going to be as easy as the first, because that first one came really quickly and easily, and this one, okay, maybe there's a reason for it, I don't know. So that's when it took us to that journey of the infertility journey, having the miscarriages, which was the most distressing thing, because you're not just losing a child, but you're losing a lot that you have as a family as well. You think, oh goodness. So it's quite difficult. I think anyone who's gone through it will understand totally what I mean by there. But you know, you just have to go, okay, that's okay, because things happen and the universe is sending us in a different way, and we just have to look for the positive in whatever's happened. So, yeah.
Wow, such a great attitude to have, and it must have been so hard for you. But looking towards other treatments, but having had that loss too, which is so heavy. How long do you feel it took you to be able to make that transition towards I've lost 2 children, and now I'm going to put my energy into IVF? And my husband went through this process with his ex-wife, and I totally understand that IVF is an intensive, invasive process, and I know it's not a nice process. So how did you find that, and how did you cope having had the loss and then going through that process?
Well, I sort of put it in my head that if we wanted to have another child, this is the only way we could do it. So I just put in my head, no, this will be fine. We'll just give this a go and it'll be fine. We'll have a baby. And so I didn't think twice about it, and we did it. We signed up for it. We did everything we had to do. We did 2 cycles. one cycle we didn't get any eggs, and the second cycle I think 2, and they didn't fertilise because they were just low quality eggs. So, and then I think probably the decision to do IVF was probably easier than the decision to not have any more children, to not attempt to have any more children, because that was the hardest thing and took me so long to get over. And I still have days where I'm like, oh, like my son's an only child and it feels a bit sad. But then I look at, hey, but we've been able to go overseas holidays, where if we have a family of 4, we might not have been able to do that. Yeah. So once again, I'm just trying to draw the positive into what we've got.
So reaching that decision that the IVF didn't work and then not having further children, again, you've looked at that from an eagle-eyed view and you've decided that this is your family, you're in love with your family, and look at the possibilities that you can now go on and achieve within that family unit. And it's hard, isn't it? So I guess we have to let go of how we think things should have been or could have been or would have been. And I think we all have that, we all have that view of how our life's going to pan out. And this is one of the fundamental things that we think this is going to happen, and then that's taken away. So just to go to that point in your life, having gone through this very emotional process, how did that reflect in terms of your health and your weight and what you needed to do for you in that moment to look after yourself?
Well, I sort of felt I always used food for a celebration and a commiseration in my life. And I think in that way, food and drink I just used as my emotional crutch, I suppose. And I thought, oh, well, look, I'm not having any more children. I don't have to worry anymore. But I forgot that I actually have to be well for the child I actually do have. So you sort of lose control. You'll sort of lose sight of that a bit. But it's not like, no, you have to actually be a good person for the one you've got. So I think probably at that time when we decided not to have any, not pursue, because I think the only other option would have been an egg donor, and we just didn't want to go down that route because it didn't suit our family. And I think because I also was diagnosed with early menopause at that time, I had that as well. So that sort of took away from the loss of a family. I sort of had all the menopause symptoms as well come on. Nice. So, of course, weight, the hot flushes, the irritability, the arguing at a piece of dust, like just everything, it just makes you change completely. So, yeah.
So at this point, you decided to have no more children. That was going to be your life. And then came the menopause. This story's unfolding. You've had so much to deal with. And my goodness, what age were you at this point that you was having to go through early menopause?
Okay, so I'm just trying to think back, because I remember my first official hot flush, which I joked about, was my son's first birthday. So he's 11 this weekend. So 10 years ago, I had my first official hot flush. And I remember, so I would have been 36. I'm 46 now. So I would have been 36 when it all started, and then it sort of progressed into that. So I remember his first birthday, I had a hot flush, and I said, oh, I think I just had a hot flush, and had a laugh. Little did I know that it actually was. So it's sort of been a progression up until I sort of have lost weight. I had symptoms right up until then. So, yeah.
Gosh, Lyndal, you've been through some... You've been through some life experiences there.
Yeah, but I think what gets you through is to think, you know what, people can get through so much, and what what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Like I'm a real believer in that, and that you're sent something or you're sent somebody for a reason. It's not just from nothing. So you just have to trust in life. Yeah.
It's the process. And going through the hot flushes, going through the changes and like you say, arguing over piece of dust, all the emotions, and you've certainly been able to process, I guess, these big life changes in such a way, and been able to move on to the next thing and onto the next thing. And even with the, you know, the early menopause, you've been able to process that and move forward. And that isn't an easy thing to do. So your mental capacity to do that and process that is such a gift to have. And when you speak about going through the menopause, at this point in your life, are you still overweight?
Yes, I was. So I was extremely overweight then, and it just got worse. And one thing that I was reading, like when you read up about what you can do for menopause, is weight loss. Like the more weight you carry, the more symptoms you could possibly have. So it's like, oh, okay, well, here we go. Let's try and do something about this. So I'd done, you know, Weight Watchers, which is what it was back then. And I'd done, you know, light and easy, and I'd done keto, I'd tried paleo, I tried soup diet, you know, everything, not knowing that I needed to do something that I could maintain. Because I've lost weight in the past and it's been fine, but I never knew how to maintain, I never knew how important it was to have the right tools to maintain. And that's why I thought, okay, this time I'm going to do it right. And I saw it was my sister's 40th birthday and she had a fancy dress party, and I wanted to go as Wonder Woman. And there was no way any costumes would fitted comfortably as Wonder Woman at the size I was, because I just was really quite uncomfortable. I wasn't going to look how I wanted to look. So I thought it's not worth doing that. So I went to the shop and just bought a white shirt and black pants, and it was Mia from Pulp Fiction. I thought, well, that's easy. And then I had a look at pictures and thought, oh my goodness, like, what am I doing here? Like, who's this person? Like, what I feel inside is not what I can see in that picture. And I know it's not all about how you look, but I wanted to radiate how I felt. And I didn't feel that was where I was in my life. So I went, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it properly, and I've got nothing to lose. So, yeah.
That's determination. I feel like I'm saying this on repeat, but it's that visual connection, isn't it? It's that visual connection, whether it's on video or a photograph, often on holidays or out and about, and realizing that how people feel inside is not reflected in that image. And so that was a turning point. And despite all these other attempts at different diets, and it's quite interesting that you've tried the Weight Watcher plan before. I know that's been rebranded to now WW. But we have to be in that right frame of mind, don't we? And my goodness, you've been through so many emotions, but maybe it was a case that you'd come to the point of accepting that change with going through the menopause, and also looking to the menopause and thinking, well, this the weight loss is going to help me. What made it clear to you that the plan that you was now going to follow was the right plan for you? And what was a change? What was the difference in following that plan now to all the attempts in the past that you tried that didn't really work? Because you mentioned that you wanted a permanent change, didn't you?
Yeah. So I think this is what it was. Prior to this last time, I've always done it for a reason, to get married, to have a baby, for an occasion. This time it was for my life and it was for me. So it was for nothing else but me. And so I joined up to WW, and I joined up to workshops. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to actually put everything into it. Wednesday night is my night. I go straight from work to the meeting. I sit there and I listen, and I made sure I learned something new every week, because we all learn something every day. Like that's just a given. But I thought, this is something that now I felt like I already knew stuff, but I didn't. I obviously knew it, but I wasn't actually putting it into practice right. So I loved it. And I still go to meetings now. But so I had my day, I had my preparation. It was like, go in there and just listen, talk to all the other people there, listen to their stories. And I thought, this time it's not a matter of if, it's when I get to my goal and when I get to my lifetime membership. And I wrote it on my vision board, and it just happened. And I didn't think about the number every week. I just thought I'm going to learn something every week, and I did. So
you see, Lyndal, just when I think you can't impress me anymore, you've mentioned the key thing there, vision board. I love a vision board.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was on your vision board? So you've gone to the group, you've made this commitment, and like you said, you're going to really you're going to give it your all. What was on that vision board? Talk me through that.
Okay, so I'm at my goal weight that I wanted to get to. I'm a lifetime member, and I'm a WW ambassador. And all three have now come true. So, fantastic. And it was last week that I was I was announced as an ambassador. So I feel like I'm a true believer in the vision boards. For this weight loss journey, I wanted to visualize it because I never have in the past. I thought, I'm going to do something completely different this time. I'm going to document it on my phone. And I signed up for Instagram page. And I thought, if I like looking at pictures of food, I'm pretty sure other people do too. And then I thought, okay, well, that's really exciting. So having the vision board, so having it visually there, seeing you, being accountable, because you wake up and you see it and you go, oh, that's right. I'm going to get there. Like, it's not when, it's like, not if, it's when. And it's going to be, and I could feel myself fitting into the clothing that I wanted. I could feel myself feeling comfortable sitting down, because one of the biggest things, I couldn't cross my legs. I felt like my stomach was sitting on my lap, and I was just really uncomfortable. I used to breathe heavy, and I could visualize and feel myself being comfortable. And that was the best feeling ever. So, yeah.
Wow. We need to really listen to our own self-talk. You will resonate with this when I say, how many times have you thought about losing weight and I'm like, oh, I really should. If only I could. I'd love to. But actually sitting down, thinking about what you want, and then saying those words, I will lose this weight. I will stick to this exercise plan. And for me, how that works is it's a daily intentions. I work on daily intentions. I'm starting up a business, and I have a spreadsheet, and I've got so much to do. It's literally at the moment, it's crazy in our house because I've got so much to do. I'm probably working like 12-hour days. But every morning, I will set the intention where it will be, I will register my company as a limited company. I will register my bank account. All of these things that are around intention setting. But what I also do is once I've done that, I will, at the end of the day, I look at the list and I will put on there, I have successfully achieved this. My brain is recognizing that I'm setting these intentions and that I'm also meeting these intentions. And just like the vision board, it's really important to set these intentions, and not only set these intentions and set these visions, but to really engage with the language around that. So on that vision board, no doubt there's nothing I should do this or I would love to. It's very, very focused, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I will be. I am. I will. I am at my goal weight. I am a lifetime member. I am an ambassador. It's powerful. Like, I've always thought about, people that have vision boards and never thought much of them. But for me, it's worked. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to work for everybody, but if you visualize it, you manifest it. To be successful in something, like, even though you're going to manifest what you want and what's going to be happening, you also have to do it in a way that you enjoy. So it's not worth setting up a new routine if you, A, don't enjoy it, and B, it's something that you can't do for the long term. So I remember one of the coaches saying that, it's not worth saying that you're going to get up and go for a run every morning if you don't enjoy running. Like, find something else to do that will give you the same impact. And that's where the dancing comes in for me. So yeah, that's why I thought I'd, do the dancing and the food. Like I love to cook, and I think that's what WT sort of reignited the passion in cooking, because I'm cooking more interesting meals than I've ever cooked in my life, and I love it. I love them. So yeah.
I think being able to cook from scratch is just it's just a joy to be able to do that. And there's so many options that you can have to eat healthy food, and I think as well as getting into a habit with not looking after our bodies, we can also get into the habit of eating bland food that is maybe rushed, and then looking at the time that we commit to like watching Netflix or Sky or scrolling out of our minds on Facebook, whatever the social media is, but setting intentions, just set for half an hour that you're going to cook a meal, or choosing one recipe a month or one new recipe a week. There's so much nice food out there, and you've got some glorious food on your Instagram.
I love eating. I just love to eat, and I love food. I think being a Taurian, we just love all the glorious things in life with food and drink. So being able to connect the food and the music and the dancing. So while I'm cooking, I'm always dancing, and that is what brings you joy. And I think that's why you feel like cooking really exciting things. And it's not just your steamed veg and chicken, it's adding everything in, but knowing, I think now it's the moderation. I don't deprive myself of anything. It's just the amount I have of it now. It's like just an acceptable amount.
So you listen to your hunger rather than just filling the plate, because I know that you spoke about emotional eating, making those changes. And it's nice that you said there about you listen to the music while you're cooking. I'm exactly the same. I've got cooking playlists, and I think it's a nice place to go in the house if you just need to get away.
It is. Yeah,
a moment to yourself. Get your chopping board, chop. You get a lot of frustration out of that chopping board. I know that I do. And then at the end of it, you've got a meal that you can like enjoy as a family, and it's a lovely treat. And I love your take on that, and I think that could be your YouTube channel, Lyndal. I think that needs to be Cooking with Lyndal.
A YouTube channel. Cooking with Lyndal. Oh, that would be my dream, to have a cooking show, because I'm not qualified at all in any cooking. I just love it. You know how sometimes you do things that you love and it doesn't feel like a chore, because I'm pretty sure there's so many people out there that don't enjoy cooking, and they're probably like, okay, but I just love it. I just think the art of just everything, I just love it.
I need to see you on YouTube now, Linda. That's it. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Could it be anything like your reels? And obviously they would be amazing.
I'm actually looking forward to getting back to my reels, because we're having a bit of our kitchen done up at the moment, so I haven't been able to cook for almost a week. So I'm looking forward to getting back to doing some reels and everything. So some more cooking.
And your food is fantastic, and to say that you've lost over 6 stone and eaten that fantastic food is really amazing. But for people that don't understand Weight Watchers and that don't understand the process of putting a meal together, my simple understanding is that it's still nutritious, it's still within a calorie deficit. Obviously you have to be within that to lose weight, and you're not having to limit yourself, which is a great way to live.
That's right. And I think now, why I've been successful this time round, because I've done it, I used to donate to Weight Watchers back in the day, which is just, I used to pay my fee and not do anything. I think now, because they've got so many extras, so they've got the meditation, they've got the exercise if you want to do that, they've got little 5-minute meditations in the morning. You can set an intention for the day. You can do your grocery list on there. They tell you what you need for certain recipes. You can go to a Zoom meeting if you can't attend a meeting. So everything's sort of there for you now. So it's like a one-stop shop, which is pretty good. So, and just having the support is really good too.
It's nice to have support, definitely. Have people who've got you back. That's really, really good. And if anybody would like to follow your story on Instagram, Lyndal, what's your Instagram handle, please?
It's Lyndal, so Lyndal .on.ww.
Fantastic. And what I'll do is I'll put the link in the show notes. So anybody that would like to see Lyndal, especially the reels, I've still to do the reel, but honestly, I think I'll be contacting Lyndal for some lessons. Then please go over there and follow Lyndal on Instagram. You've been an absolute inspiration. I have no idea of everything that had gone before. The weight loss and the fact that you can still show up to life smiling with your gorgeous smile. Your outlook is an absolute credit to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
I just feel that Lyndal embodies resilience. I don't know if it's something in the water in Australia, but every guest that I've had on from Australia, you know, their stories are so powerful. You know, how can you not be inspired by that story? And despite everything that she's been through, she's gone on to lose weight and she's been able to find a plan that really works for her, and she's been able to keep the weight off. And like, even despite a health situation in terms of she can't go to the gym, she can't do high impact workouts or aerobics, she's still been able to find something that really works for her. You know, she's not given up on the idea of ever being fit and healthy. She just thought of another way to get to the goal that she wants to achieve. And I feel that this is a really strong episode, so resilient. And if this has inspired you today, please go over, give Lyndal a like and a follow over on Instagram. I'm sure that she will really appreciate that. And just say thank you to everybody that's come over to my Facebook group, Slimming Stories, and joined. Really pleased that you're there. What I'm going to do is next month, at the end of next month, I'm going to have another live. So I'll be sending out a link to people for anybody within the group that would like me to share their story on a live within my group. And then what I'm going to do is transform that into a podcast by magic. So don't worry. So if you listen to this thinking, oh my God, I don't be on a podcast, all of those worries that you may have, you know, just park that. Don't worry. Don't fret, honestly. You know, if I can show up with my imperfect articulation, then anybody can. Really, you know, podcasting, it's not for the stars. It's not for super posh people. It's for people like you and I that just want to share their story. So please go over and join my Facebook group. And I will be sending out a link. I think it'll be in 2 weeks' time because I've got some big stuff coming up in the next 2 weeks. So another 2 weeks' time, in the middle of June, I'll put a link out there and I'll be doing the recording at the end of June. So thank you so much for joining me yet again. And if you've not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's literally just a press of a finger. And it can take anywhere between 5 to 8 hours to do one single episode. So if you're enjoying this episode, if you're enjoying the podcast, please hit subscribe wherever you are in the world. I would really, truly appreciate that. So until next time, take care and have a great week.